Yeah. One, two, three. Right, guys, it's Blackman the Traveller. Hope everyone's okay. So I've got a very, very special guest, and she's gonna speak for herself. Right, can you please introduce yourself, darling?
Hi everyone, my name is Halley. I'm an associate at an investment bank.
Yeah.
I grew up in Newham. I went to schools in Newham, and I'm here to speak to my friend about my financial journey.
Cool. So, how old are you, first of all?
I'm 27.
Okay, where are you originally from?
I was born in Vietnam.
Born in Vietnam. I've
Yes.
actually been to Vietnam.
Yes.
Whereabouts in Vietnam was you born?
Hai Phong.
Okay, cool. Okay, all right, cool. So you're born in Vietnam, and then you moved to the UK, right?
hmm
Okay, cool. So, how was your like upbringing, like as a young girl?
So when I came to London, I was
Yeah.
8 years old,
Okay.
and so I stayed with my family.
Yeah.
And during that time, it was adjusting to a new life.
Yeah.
Went to school. I actually went to Horseville, so
Okay.
in Canning Town.
Okay.
Um,
Newham.
Newham, yes,
Yeah.
through and through.
Yeah.
And eventually went to Cumberland as
Okay.
my secondary school. And then one day, my house I was staying with my family got caught on fire.
Oh,
I was in
apologise.
my no, so it was years ago.
Yeah.
And at the time we weren't in a good financial situation,
Yeah.
so I ended up in the foster home
Okay.
at
I'm
the
sorry.
age of around 13. And
Okay.
since 13 years old up to the time I start going to university, and that's
Yeah.
when I kind of like progressed from the foster home to university and staying on the university accommodation.
Okay. So when you went to university, what did you study?
Economics.
Okay. Why economics? Out of all things, like you could have studied, I don't know, theatre. You could have studied science. You could have studied anything, but why economics? That's a very like interesting, tough subject to study.
So, one fun fact about me,
Yeah.
when I was just before I left to go to London from Vietnam,
Yeah.
around 8 years old, I actually started selling stickers in the school playground.
Wow.
So I would buy this like box of quirky stickers from the
Yeah.
market, and I cut them up
Yeah.
like Hello Kitty, Mickey Mouse, and I start selling them in school. So that was my way of like hustling around,
So
and
you already had the hustling mentality from the age of young. Okay. Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
enjoy, hey, I got some stickers, you wanna buy it? So that was like my pocket money,
Yeah.
if you see it. So, and that kind of initiated my interest in business and commercial dealings,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of kept that mentality. And even in school, when I was at Cumberland, I actually buying some stuff off of eBay,
Yeah.
selling like cameras and USB sticks, etc.
Wow.
So I always wanted, doing some like hustle in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And in year 10, when everyone in school, they offer to go to do like 2 weeks work experience. I don't know, you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember. So one of my offer was that I was able to go to the NatWest branch in Stratford. You know, the one in Broadway.
Yeah. Yeah. In Stratford Broadway.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
And so I was there for 2 weeks, and
Okay.
dealing with customers and learning about the products, a mortgage advising, or looking at like premium accounts for customers, and that sparks the interest in
Okay.
in banking and in finance for me. And so since then, I've kind of put myself on the path that I want to study economics. I was really good at maths at school.
Yeah.
And so it's a good combination, with numbers and with the business on the side that I liked. And so I kind of put myself on the path to go and study economics at
So,
university.
so was it the 2 weeks at NatWest that actually empowered you and sparked you to actually carrying on the journey to get involved in economics, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So within those 2 weeks, and then would you say that was the turning point?
There was a few things that happened
Yeah.
in that period. One
Yeah.
of which was, at that time I was staying with a foster carer,
Okay.
and her father actually came into the branch.
Yeah. Oh
And
wow! While you was there.
and well, whilst I was
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
to deposit some money in his account, and he saw me. That was the second time I met the gentleman,
Yeah.
and he said to me, "Oh, you're working at NatWest
Yeah.
Bank. I have more respect for you now." So as a
But
young,
why would he say that?
I think at that time, my experience with
Yeah.
the second foster home wasn't as smooth sailing.
Yeah.
There was a few, conflicts, and it affected me mentally.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what she has been talking to her father about, but that was the second time I met her father.
Yeah.
And he just said, oh, I have more respect for you now. You work in banking.
Okay.
Not that is kind of like the main factor to put me on a path to work in banking.
Yeah.
But I recognize that there is some kind of, image of a professional
Yeah.
in people's mind. And that's a way to get a respect. Looking back, it's my passion. But I can see why people chose to go into banking because, there's some status, there's some, an image of professional that people want to, always to validate themselves. And trust me, there's a lot of insecure people in banking, I would say.
You know what, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even pass maths in GCSE. I don't know. I'm very good with numbers right now, but when I was young, I never passed maths. But I always when I used to go to banks when I was a child, I never really paid attention. I just used to go with my mum, help. Like my mum used to deposit money, and every week I used to go. And then we used to get EMA, £30 a week.
Oh yes, me too.
Yeah, so I used to deposit sometimes the £30 or something, or maybe take out the money. But it's kind of a hard. It's a hard job because you're dealing with people in all walks of life, and then you're experiencing certain situations. How are you going to handle these customers? And I think it's a very interesting field to work in, like financial or banking, because it's a number game, and there's always challenges. So you've had the 2 weeks experience already. So then what happens next?
So what happened next was I went to go to university. I studied economics.
Yeah.
And during university, I started my own society called the Bull and Bear Association.
Okay.
And I recognized that my university at the time, so I went to Roy Holloway University, and it's not a target school.
Okay.
It's
What
not
do you mean by it's not a target school?
So a Russell Group. So in the UK, you have I think the top 10 or top 15, I can't remember, don't quote me on that, of, well-funded, well-sourced, very well, known universities like Oxford, Cambridge, LSE, Durham. So all of those are like, Russell University. So they are the targeted university. So in America, you would have the Ivy League, like the Harvard, MIT, etc. So I went to Roy Holloway. Partly at the time, they offered me a scholarship to go to university. So I didn't have to pay for my accommodation. So that really helped with my financial situation. As a care leaver, coming from a foster care system with no, financial backing from the family. So I do have to kind of look around to see what are the options exactly. And so Roy Holloway was very kindly enough to offer me the scholarship. But right at the start, I recognized that, I want to go into investment banking. I want to position myself in this competitive field. How do I go about doing that? And one of it, to kind of make myself stand out, is to have show initiatives, show that I have entrepreneurial and the grit that I can, take on the challenges of investment banking. Yeah. And so I started the Bull and Bear Association, and, it's an association where I kind of use my network that I built over the years and put on talks for students at university, particularly targeting employers that might not have had, be interested to come onto university.
You done it by yourself?
Yes.
So you use your own time?
Yes.
And you built a network by yourself, and you was networking with other peers. So basically you was kind of empowering other people to understand what you're trying to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to provide a platform for students to get to know other employers who might not necessarily come on my campus. Yeah. So we do have perhaps some companies that you might not heard of. Yeah. But I want to target like BP, EY, PwC, the really big companies to come onto my campus. And so I have built really good connections with a BP organization in the past, and so I actually managed to get one of very well respected traders to come in and do a talk.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
That's all right.
And and that kind of put my society out there, and and that is one of the ways for me to build network. And when it came to interviewing, and they were asking me about what have you done at university, and say, look, this is what I have done. And after that, that helped me to secure an internship at Credit Suisse, which is one of the biggest investment banking on the high street. They're based in Canary Wharf, and they have offices around the world, and very much originated in Switzerland. And so I did a 3-month internship at the Credit Suisse
with that company. Yeah.
With that company.
Yeah.
And after that, it's a very tough experience, waking up at 6 a.m., going to sleep at 3 a.m. It's a very hard, grilling experience. It is but I was prepared, but, in my head, I was like, this is what, the process. And I was just very much interested to kind of learn as much as possible in that, 3-month internship. And so I was there weekend. I was there, the first to come, the last to leave.
So you was determined. You had the hunger.
Yes.
So you're born in Vietnam. You've come over to the UK. You've had ups and downs, trials and tribulations. You was in a foster care. Then you went to university. Then while in the university, before the university, you had the 2 weeks thing. It was in that West. So it was from those 2 weeks that changed your life and said, okay, now you know your vision. Moving forward, you went to university, then you still, you used the energy to pursue your career, then you started a foundation in university, right? So, okay, cool. So that shows that consistency and you had the hunger. And you saw your vision and you continued, you know what I mean? But you as a female, have you ever suffered any major setbacks in this field? Have you ever had any discrimination, or have you ever had any setbacks because you're female? And maybe, I don't know, maybe the majority of the people in industry are dominant are males. I don't know. I'm just curious about that.
Funny you ask, because with finance there are some I think with any job would be some microaggression, but funny thing is, I experienced that more with a female colleague than a male colleague. Yeah. And for example, at the 2 weeks work experience, I was, very much, showing initiative. I wanted to help out with everything as much as possible. Yeah. And one of the feedback I received from one of the, the ladies that was working there was this is not her job. She's not supposed to do this.
One lady said that to you?
No, one lady said it to one of my male colleagues. And yeah.
Okay.
So and he related, but I wasn't in there during the conversation. Yeah. So since then, I kind of stepped back, and not being as helpful. Yeah. In a way, and so when I went to work at another financial institution, I had to run into a quite, let's say, a demanding female boss. Yeah. But she did. Taught me a lot of things that I kind of appreciated for, but however the working kind of relationship was very tough.
Wow. So you did suffer certain setbacks in the industry. How would you say that it's worth to be in the position that you're in right now?
Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't change it. If I had to go back, and I wouldn't change anything. Yeah. But, I took that as lessons. Yeah. And I've really taken on all the, situation I encounter. And I have learned that, there's certain situation. I mean, I was really young then, fresh out of university. I had very little experience, even life experience, And so there are certain situations, looking back, I could have dealt with it better.
If you didn't take this opportunity, what do you think you would have been doing right now?
I don't know. I'm probably still gonna find my way around it and then trying to get in.
Okay, what would have been what would have been maybe your plan B?
My plan B, I didn't have a plan B. I had no option. So I was saying to myself, this is it. This is going to be my my path. I was very rigid in my thinking back then. I was like, I have to get in because this is what I love. This is what I enjoy. I really want to go into investment banking. I want to be around, smart, hardworking, driven individuals to learn from them. Because my biggest fear at the time was not learning enough. And
that was your biggest fear at that time?
That was my biggest fear, because I really just want to learn as much as possible. But now I'm kind of in a good place. I'm kind of like taking a bit of a step back. I'm still in investment banking, but I am not, propelled to do 12 hours of work and then 70 and 100 hours a week. I'm happy to kind of like take a step back and look around me and see what other things I can do with my time and with the passion that I have.
I've seen on your social media platforms you offer some mentoring and you also give people advice. Can you tell me how does that work?
Sure, absolutely. So my passion stemmed from when I was at school. I had a mentor and she worked at BP at the time. That's how I kind of built my connection. And she really helped me to kind of understand myself and how to deal in a different situation in professional. If I have conflicts or questions, I always go to her and she gave really good advice. So it's just a way for me to kind of give back for the community, because I realized, particularly coming from newham, there is a real lack of role models and a real lack of, mentoring.
Totally agree.
And I'm really big on mentoring because I think, you can learn a lot from someone who has experienced it before. And because they have seen it all, right? Because they have trial and errors and, they have kind of found a way. And so when I got the position at investment banking, at Credit Suisse and Citi, I receive a lot of emails and messages from students on LinkedIn saying, "Oh, can you help me, to prepare for? Can you look at my CV? Can you look at my interviews?"
You had random people that you don't know messaging you for you to give them advice and inspire them. Wow, that's good.
And then so I thought, wow, there is, I wouldn't say a gap in the market, but I realized, people do need some uplifting. And they do it, there are people out there they do coaching, right? But they charge a lot, £100 just for a sit down. And for me, there should be some financial kind of incentive, because if you get something for free, you don't really value it.
That's true.
So you would have to kind of part some way to put a value on something, on my service. So mentoring for me, yes, there is there is a service there, but I'm also offering an opportunity to build relationship and have that someone who will be there for the person. For example, a university student reaching out for me who wants to break into banking or in any sector. I can look at your CV. I have a girl that I helped. She's in creative industry and she got 2 job offers. And so being there for someone, from university, help them to get a job, looking at their CV, preparing them for interviews. Once they start working, look, will you start thinking about, investing, buying a house, saving up, how to better your finance? So I want to be there for them during that, milestone steps in their career. So I will be kind of the mentoring, guiding them throughout the whole
career.
Adulthood, basically, because where I am right now, I got a good job. I bought my house. I'm a homeowner.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I have a good investment portfolio. I'm looking to expand my property portfolio. So I'm going first, and then helping the people who want to kind of maybe follow in the same footstep, or just want someone to have that advice, authentic, genuine, truthful advice that they want.
You have a lot of courage, because you've actually come to another country and you've actually went through a lot of stuff, and you're very sincere, you know what I mean, and you're very passionate in what you do. And for you to actually use your time and help other people, that's sending you emails, and you're actually helping them and you're actually making them grow. And that's important. So that just shows that you're not just a mentor, you're a leader. You know what I mean? You're inspiring because you're empowering other people that want to be in your position, or you're empowering other people that want to, reach their goals. And that's beautiful. You know what I mean?
I never thought of it like that, but hearing it from your perspective, it's really validating what I'm doing. It's
you know what? Because a lot of people don't really understand what they're doing can help so many people until you actually understand the full fundamental and you actually break it down, you're thinking, wow, what I'm doing is actually sick. But apart from that, it's inspiring because I'm motivating people and you're changing people's lives. So you're using your online like mentoring platforms to inspire people to come, look, I've done this. This is my journey. This can be you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're inspiring people, you know what I mean? And you're motivating people, and that's beautiful. So are you, in terms of like females as well, do you start to like empower other girls like to jump on your platform, or do you want to create like another type of platform?
So before I kind of rebranded my platform, so
Yeah.
before it was just Hal,
Yeah.
and it's just me like sharing a blog or sharing my platform,
Yeah.
and people didn't kind of like resonate that I'm, very much focused on finance.
Yeah.
So before that, my platform was very much male dominated, 60% male and 40% female.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, like female, there's a lot of talented ladies out there,
Yeah.
and a lot of there's in a way with finance and investing, it's an intimidating topic for females
Yeah.
because they look at it like, very much the male thing,
Like the male dominance.
in
of
male
it.
dominant, even for like a house. I recently saw a video. This is you might think this is just a poor people problem, but it's rich people do have that problem as well. Even like a lady, very famous model, Paulina, her husband died and did not leave her, a share inheritance, for example. So she's got stuck in a way where she was, had no idea what she'll be doing.
Yeah.
So it's a way, female needs to have they start thinking about themselves as well.
Yeah.
You are in a partnership with your husband or partner, but you always have to have something of your own.
Yeah.
And that is something I think some females kind of, they don't think of it like that. Their mentality is very much, what's kind of like what we built together, we kind of share.
Yeah.
I do agree with that, but at the same time, like to help you focus and to help you on your own financial journey, anything can happen. You need to have something of your own, and this is something that I want to put out there for the females. And since then, it has changed. So like my platform now is very much 50-50.
Yeah. So there's a balance now.
There's a balance now, and even though if I change the color, making it more a little, female friendly, the males are still coming to my platform because I thought, okay, if I change my my branding, the guys would go off because it's too girly. But in fact, they're just there for my content because I do push out good content and make it really, really easy for them to understand. And I can see the level of engagement with females have increased significantly, and they would come to me and ask me questions. And recently with the Deliveroo IPO, I put it on my platform and say, look, Deliveroo is doing an IPO, and I think this is such a great opportunity to kind of step in and buy from, invest in a company that is well known, and they have a really good model and a really good team. Yes, they are loss making, but a lot of companies are still loss-making, Uber, etc., or the high-growth companies. And so a lot of females, my friends, are like, hey, I'm investing, like, thanks for your platform. And so it's really like make me like happy in a way.
Because you're inspiring. You're inspiring people.
I hope that's the case, but I'm just hoping that, with that, people will start thinking of, before they're buying something, they would, instead of buying, it's going to be investing. Yeah.
I remember there's one thing you told me on social media. You said something about, you told me on WhatsApp that you need to invest, or like you don't make, I don't know, like there was like a saying that you said and that caught my attention.
All right.
You said something to me, and when I did say to you, I want to get involved in investing.
Yes, I remember, yeah.
I remember you said something about rich people you don't get rich by saving, you get rich by investing.
Yes.
I was like, what the fuck? Sorry, and I was like, what? But then
no one get rich by saving.
Yeah.
No one get rich by investing.
You get rich by investing, right?
You get rich by investing.
So when you said that, I was like, I couldn't really understand. Then actually, I sat down in my room and I was like, then I called my partner. I said, my friend Halley, she said this. And then my partner explained it to me properly. And I said, wow, like, you need to understand, like, we do live in a materialistic way. I mean, in the world, whatever. Yep. And it's true, you need to invest in yourself to see a longevity of wealth and a long term of, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's true. Yeah. And I totally respect what you're doing.
I mean, what you are doing now is investing. You're investing your time, right? You're investing into building your your platform, you're investing. So we need to normalize that, because sometimes people just look at it, oh, you're just doing something to wasting your time, etc. But many people, they just like buy something expensive, like they depreciate in value over time, like a car. As soon as you buy that car, you walk out the showroom, that price dropped like 12%.
I didn't know that.
On average, like if you buy a brand new car, you walk out the showroom, if you want to return it, it's not going to be the same price. You're not going to get the same refund, As soon as you buy it, you walk out, drop.
Give me, what inspiration words would you give out to people right now that are stuck, that have businesses, they don't know what they're doing, or they're trying to achieve like their goals in your field? What motivation words would you say to the people out there?
It's hard like to say one word, but I think like keep going. As long as you keep going, like there will always be a breakthrough. I always believe in that. Like, you have to try, go through trials and errors, and that's when you kind of perfect your own perfect recipes in a way, because like, I can't tell you what to do. I'm not in your situation. You're not in my situation, but you have to learn. This is why I love books. I love like reading the stories, because a lot of people have gone through certain journeys, and some stories resonates with me because I can relate. And so by reading books, by networking, and actually like expanding your own knowledge, that is the quickest way to kind of get out of that situation and doing something of your time. I mean, don't look after yourself. Look after your mental health, because if you don't have that, then you would kind of stuck in the same cycle. So read books and believe that everything will be okay. I always have that Bakuna Matata kind of no problem,
Read books.
Everything
will be okay.
Everything will be okay.
No, but you're inspiring, man. You know what I mean? And you're the same age as me, right? Or when you're younger?
I think so.
I'm 27. How old are you?
27. 93, wow. Right?
Yeah. So wow, you're 27 and you already bought your first house. Fuck it out. We live in London.
Yes.
That's expensive. But that shows that determination, hunger, consistency, and that's amazing. Can you please tell the audience where they can find you on social media platforms, how they can reach out towards you, and
so I am on a social media. So I'm on Instagram. So my Instagram name is BankMelater. So it's a kind of word of thank me later, because I want to give out as much good content and good kind of like knowledge as possible on finance. And so reach me on there. I'm also check out my website is bankmelater.com, and find me on LinkedIn if you kind of want to check out what I'm doing on the financial.
What's the link in?
It's Halley Nguyen. It's a very common Vietnamese name, but the link is on my website. So just reach out.
Thank you very much for coming in. I really appreciate it. You spoke a lot of wisdom. You empowered many people, hopefully, that's going to watch this to get involved in what you're doing, and especially for like what you've been through. You know what I mean? And your story and your journey and where you are now. To buy your first house before 27 or whatever. That's amazing. But
25.
25. Well, it don't matter. This is London. It's expensive. But your journey, you know what I mean? Your journey can relate to millions of people around the world. But you don't know that. I don't know that. Not until they watch this. So that's the beauty of this podcast. People coming on, you know what I mean, speaking about their journey, and people can actually relate. So I really, really appreciate it for you to come
thank
down.
you for having me, because I really love your story, because we grew up together. We used to
not
hang around Forest Gate.
Yeah.
So we used to hang around Forest Gate together, and I remember you were just like this tall, really wild guy.
I was a bit crazy.
I was designing VIG for you guys on MySpace. And so to see that when I saw that you were traveling, I was like, wow. Someone broke out of the hood and going traveling and open their mind to a lot of possibilities, and seeing different culture, and being humbled by how the world has evolved around Newham, and around you there are so many things that you can see when you're traveling. So the fact that you travel to different places, and you actually lived in different places, really inspired me to, because I really want to live in another country and actually put myself in a very kind of different situation and learn from that. So in a way, like, you are an inspiration for me.
Thank you.
So like, thank you for doing all of
that's
this.
all right. That's all right. And hopefully we are definitely going to do another episode. You're going to maybe get your second house by then. You know what I mean? And,
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. And hopefully by then you would actually have like a very big major platform. And yeah, so guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this blog. Be honest in the comment section. You know what I mean? Comment, like, and subscribe. Watch out for the next blog. It's Blackman. Bow.